guys, James Compton here with James Compton Customs. I thought I'd do a little video for you guys today. If you are embarking on the adventure of radically modifying your ZRX and go into one of our custom carbon tail sections, I'm just gonna, it's a builder's piece. I'm gonna say right off the bat, this is not for anybody that doesn't have pretty extensive fabrication skills and is squared away. We keep developing the kit, trying to make it easier for install. And so we've got a few new components. We'll go over those today. And then hopefully watching this, it's just gonna be some loose parameters that will help you if you are embarking on this journey to make it a little easier when you do go down this road. Anyway, this is what you're gonna end up with. It'll obviously, if you're riding on the street, it'll have a brake light in it. This one we've set up, this is gonna be a race bike for a vintage racer. But anyway, we're gonna step over to a bike that I've already cut the subframe on, and we'll get started with that. So the first thing you're gonna wanna do before you start to install this kit, obviously you're gonna have to take all your stock body work off, the undertail tray, get the electronics out of the way so you don't accidentally cut something. And then the first and most major modification is you're going to end up cutting the rear of your frame off right behind these upper shock mounts. And as a rule of thumb, you're going to cut the frame at the same angle as this tube that's going down here at an angle that comes up to the upper shock mount. You're going to want to give yourself enough room. The angle of the line should be the same angle as this tube, but you're going to have to offset it about 1/8 of an inch so you don't cut into this upper shock mount right here. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. And then you're going to want to cut this tube straight down through everything so it's perpendicular to this main backbone here. So to get an idea of where you want this to be, this is actually it doesn't matter which cut you make first, and you can adjust this, but to give you an idea of where to cut this, you can measure from this backbone right under the tank, and just right on top of that tube. You want to get on the tube, not on the weld, but right up against that, and then just measure back. And we typically try to get it at about 13 3/4. 13 5/8 is that's as pretty much as thin as you'll ever get it. If you get it out to 14, that's fine, because what will happen in this area, if you move the hoop a little further back and all the mounting brackets so the whole tail moves back or forward a little bit, all that can be compensated by how you modify your seat, which is a whole nother project. So when you get your kit in the mail, we're now supplying a complete welded frame hoop with the mounting tabs for the billet aluminum mounting bracket. So all you'll have to do, well, let me back up a second. We found that not any one frame is exactly the same. So they're going to be slightly different, the distance from here to here. And when you cut the frame off, you'll understand why. They will flex a little bit, the tail. They're all under stress, and so when you cut them, they'll move slightly. This is chromoly tubing. It actually has some give to it, and so you know, they're never more than like a 1/16 of an inch off anyway. But what you'll want to do is just get just the tip of one side started, and then you might have to kind of flex it in, but it goes in really easy. And it basically holds itself right into place. You can move it up and down, but if you push it in there good and tight, it doesn't, it's pretty located where you want it. The next thing is the back of these tubes. We don't cut them before they go out. You can trim them, but you kind of want to cut them at an angle because the carbon will interfere with them. But then you'll get your carbon shell. This is the main piece of the kit. And so once you've welded this up, There's also a little spot back on the back of the frame that you'll want to build a little plate for, so you can basically enclose everything on the back of that. This will just slide right in there. The mounting holes will all line up for you. And there you have it. So I'm going to go ahead and just put a couple fasteners in here. So your kit also comes with a little brake light housing for here and an anti-draft shield that pops into the bottom. We use riv nuts, and just, you know, you can be creative, put them wherever you want. We put one in the middle, one on each corner of the brake, and then one in the middle of the anti-draft shield and one at each corner here. That's typically how we set them up. We are discussing right now just making this brake light housing one piece with the tails, so in the future that might be how they come, and it might just be a two-piece kit, the main part of the tail with the anti-draft shield, so that may be coming soon. But anyway, I do sell a brake light kit that it's a billet housing that pops right in here. It's got LED brake lights on it, and so if this is gonna be a street bike, that's something to consider. They're also available on our website and is available with the kit. So this is another bike we just finished up that's in the shop. I just wanted to show you guys what the brake lights look like when you're done with them. Okay, so kind of the last piece is the modifying your seat, and this is a little bit tricky to do it right. We CNC an aluminum panel that we rivet into the existing seat pan, and which creates this profile, and then we relocate the stock seat latches up into this part of the seat, and then in order to get this profile, the foam all back here has been reshaped, but anyway, and then the seat just pops in just like it did stock, and then the last thing you have to do is build some tabs and mount your seat latch, so your seat can latch in. I suggest doing this part of the seat last, so you can mock everything up. You can change the distance here and make up whatever difference. If you shorten it, you can take some of the foam out. If you want it a little longer, you can add a little more thickness to this part of the seat to move it fore and aft. That's personal preference. The numbers I gave you before, that's where we run all our tails, and we think they look pretty good, but some guys like them a little longer, it's not so truncated, and some guys like to be really extreme and shorten them up. So however you want to do it, that's your preference. The last thing I'll show you is we do have a billet bracket available, so you can just mount tabs on each side of your frame and then bolt our billet bracket in, and it holds the female side of the latching mechanism. So I'm going to take you back to the other bike and show you that real quick. So I just wanted to show you guys on this bike that's pretty much finished up. We do offer this aluminum bracket that holds the female part of the latching mechanism, and it has a little cutout where we take the cable off of the original latching mechanism, but it leaves a little arm there, and then you can just use your finger to slide it over and release the lock, and then the seat will pop right out. Once you pop the latch, the seat comes right out. Then you have access to the battery and battery box. We've also got our water recovery tank on this one and our oil catch tank. This bike's going to the track, so those things are kind of a must for track bikes, as most organizations have rules for fluid retention. But anyway, yeah, this is actually a pretty cool build that we just finished up for a customer that is racing in some vintage organizations, and it was a fun build. It's got a lot of really neat parts on it, and I think he'll really enjoy it. So I just wanted to add this in to the video. If you are building a race bike, we do have some additional components when you're doing all this work to your tail section that kind of clean it up and make it more user-friendly. So I've already touched on the crankcase breather and the water catch tank or water recovery tank. and the lightweight battery. This assembly, you lose about close to 10 pounds over the stock, a big lead cell battery. But the other thing is when your electronics, so you're going to move all that stuff out of the tail section, we build some little billet brackets that bolt to existing points in the frame, and it houses everything over here that was in your tail that you need to retain for a race bike, except the ECU. And the billet bracket that we designed, actually the ECU, it comes drilled and tapped, and the ECU just mounts to it, so you can mount that under your tail, run those wires forward, and then put all your other electronics into the side. If you're doing a race bike, it cleans things up and makes it kind of nice and convenient. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please keep those coming, and we'll try to make more videos. Thanks.